hello, hi. It is literally midday on a Sunday. The perfect time to be streaming. But I suppose since these VODs kind of serve a different purpose, it doesn't really matter what time of the day it is. It's whatever time of day it is for you. It's a perfect time for you to be watching this. And hi, and welcome back for more of the Devil, episode 1. I think that we are getting very close to our courtroom date with a very, very lovely district attorney that I'm sure that we're going to kiss. I'm sure that that's how all of the arguing is going to go down in the courtroom proceedings. I'm sure it's probably just some elaborate kissing mini games or something, I'm sure. But we have really been investigating this David case for a while. It's actually a lot more dense than I was expecting it to be. I kind of thought we would already have been, you know, matching wits with people and witnesses and like playing card games that are metaphors for arguments against detectives, but we are doing none of that. We've just been investigating, and we are still investigating. Like, we've still not reached the courtroom. It's still only like 4 in the afternoon or something in game time. So yeah, I guess with that, I'm excited. The reason I'm streaming early today is because in America it's football day, the Super Bowl. They play that today, and that's. I know a lot of people say they're not going to watch it, especially this year, because nobody likes the teams that are playing or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that people are still going to watch it, or you know, they've got plans to hang out with people or something. So I figured I don't want to skip a day streaming because I want to play this game a lot. It's one of my most anticipated games, you know, coming into this year. So I'm just going to play it. Stream numbers be damned. The VOD will be there when people want to see it. How's it going, Poncho? Your brother is out of the house for the weekend, so you've benefited that way. Nice. Nice. That's good. It's always nice to have the place by yourself, but I guess like when that's just how you live, it's not it's not quite as special anymore. Not to give too much away about my own personal situation. Got things done, made chili, did dishes, got laundry done. There you go. I've done nothing today but eat some pizza and get heartburn. So I think that's kind of the rest of my day. Today is going to be a bad GERD day, so I just don't think I'm going to eat much of anything. Some days just be like that when you got GERD. It's not fun. You see the Jack Daniels? It's back there. I'll probably be drinking a bit tonight, but probably nothing too heavy since, I mean, I got work tomorrow, so can't go too crazy, right? But anyway, are we ready? We need to get to the courtroom, but I think that we were stopping back by the crime scene to take things in again. Was there a reason I made 3 saves, or did I just do it to be a dingus? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, these are all black screens. I should probably, yeah, okay, these last 2 are safe. All right. Noble Employee Housing Building, Platea. We're going back to the penthouse basement. Okay. Yeah, there was a locker in here that we didn't get into, I think. Not that I know of any evidence we have that would help us get in. Killer Detective's black screen stream. That happened when I played Martian Line. I loaded my game and it was just a black screen, so that can happen. That could happen. It's the same engine, I think. So we may actually get Killer Lawyer's black screen stream. I've not had any major issues like that with this game, though. Like anything that, because I replayed episode 0 before it came out and I only found a couple of bugs that I reported, but things seem okay for the most part. We've not had any on-stream issues anyway. The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Got to approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that. I don't know, Umineko reference. Did you just make an explicit Umineko reference? I mean, that could very well just be an actual phrase people use, but that I've only ever seen it used in Umineko. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right, an airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. Think outside the box, Nick. So all we have left is oral intake, eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Young's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup, the results were inconclusive. Young was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. That inconclusive keeps coming back. Ghosty! How you doing? Welcome to... We are really deep into the lawyer detective mystery visual novel. I hope you enjoy the vibes at least, if you don't know what's going on. But this is Morgan. She's a very upstanding lawyer. She's never done anything wrong in her life. She's what we might call a cinnamon roll. And this is Sarah. This is a cute little android we found, and she's awesome. We like her a lot. Everybody in chat stands Sarah. We love her a lot. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical and consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0? David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar? Better, 5 points. She's so proud. You just noticed the barcode on her head? We've had her for like 5 hours. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches that poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back. Oh God, I love Sarah. She's so good. Yeah, you gotta have a barcode for the bar. I was expecting it to be a tattoo or something, and I thought it was just some shiny robot shit. Well, I mean, it technically is just shiny robot shit. It's just a barcode, and it glows with her eyes. If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from the bar. So, if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. Oh, I love Morgan Vision. What do you mean? This whole building is coated head to toe in penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. I remember back in the 90s, there was a mini trend of youngsters getting barcode tattoo, not realizing the implications of that was. Yeah, I think I probably wanted a barcode tattoo at some point too. Like I was gonna get it on my wrist or something. I don't know. It's silly. Every console, every corner, every Android on every floor, it's all plugged into Penumbra. Right! This was not the same name, was it? Like, because everything else was by, I think that they mentioned that everything else down here was made by Noble except this. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking or whatever you want to call it? Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. Hey, Cat. How you doing? What's up? How you doing? We are neck deep in a lawyer detective mystery story, so I probably won't be able to catch you up. Morgan, the type of them you'd expect as a part of a law. Yeah, the type of them you'd expect to see as part of a law firm. I know of a few. You're making bread? Get that bread! That's what the youngins say these days, right? I made pizza earlier, and now I got heartburn, so I'm not eating the rest of the day. That's my story. Actual bread? I could go. I bet. I mean, actual bread is usually good for GERD, actually. So, yeah. As opposed to money. Sometimes we would rather it be the other. There are times where it could be like, I don't know, I kind of just want the bread. But most of the time, I kind of, man, give me that bread. Pumpernickel. I want to try and make that someday. Pump her nickel, if you know what I mean. Sex joke. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they're on a separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not the Penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me! He was brilliant and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see. I think? I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... Time's short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. Okay. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, those weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Oh, she's going serious mode. Hold on! Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m., local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the Global Donkey Bank from Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bent it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to police afterwards, the teller only had this to say: the man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smoke screen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnosis Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves that that when they switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. This motherfucker Jekyll and Hyde! So be careful what you say about a man. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do just because of how he looks on the outside. Sarah, every single word you said is false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. Oh, damn. Sarah learning a harsh lesson here. She learning about the internet. You can lie on the internet? What? That's illegal. Okay, so is that the original? It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than a robot. Yeah, what's up with this crack? What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before. Might want to get those eyes checked. There was nothing wrong with my vision. The crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. So, if she was last active Thursday, it had to happen the day that he died. What would do this, though? This is like a rubber kind of... This is described as kind of like a rubber mat kind of substance or whatever. How? Did David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over on the same spot? The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison can be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry, you're very underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a bit worse than I expected. Cheer up. Maybe you'll find a mocktail you can climb to the top. Maybe you can find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder. A kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a stepladder folds out. And it's important to know the distinction. I'd bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again. Ever. All right, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, yeah? Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. Got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It's a Teddy's Basic Sturature. It's an anti-hack feature, is the name. The anti-hack feature in the name is real. It's a closed system, Adonai. The hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. And he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open? It'll be a 6-character password. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? 666420. Sure. Nope. 666420. No dice. So we're gonna have to like look around the room. Could it be your birthday? Or his? If David set the password to something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. As you say, Adonai. No, he would have picked a code whose significance was only obvious after the fact. That didn't work either. Well... Is this something I was supposed to have gotten already? Hold on. Booga! That's 6 words. That's 6 letters. Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus, Adonai. It's not like I'm taking multiple choice tests, Sarah. Oh, how's it going, Millie? We're just trying to break into the safe. Either I know the answer or I don't. I see. So do you know the answer, Adonai? I'm getting there. We're supposed to know this? M-O-R-G... Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and Father were close would have tried guessing it. Was there some other word only the two of you knew? A nickname? Pretty much everyone just calls me Morgan, but not everyone. I was just thinking, Adonai, just now. Like, yeah, that's gotta... What else? Yep. Okay. I also feel like they were laying on the Adonais real thick there. I think they wanted me to notice that. She was just saying it like after every sentence. I kind of have a feeling that's what we were going for. I don't know of any other way you could have picked up on that. But when she mentioned like, was there some other name? So like, was Sarah programmed to call me Adonai just so I would get this password? Is that it? Is that how David worked this out? It's opening. What was the password, Adonai? You'd never guess. All right, what's behind door number 3? Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech, and I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand. but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sound, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human and some canines. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. All right, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-a-ton Android, and a secret phrase? If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search the video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m. Okay. You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at that time was David himself. All right, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking? I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai. But they are encrypted. Damn it, David, you leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. Of course, the genius would write their own encryption tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Asher hand-wrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive that could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time. How much time would that be? I would estimate at 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window! No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that can be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by using subconscious processes, so long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. There's the task manager. We are dedicating all resources to decryption. All right, can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second, but he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar? His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front, and in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in legalese, even in the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Okay. A binder containing the full text of David Asher's employment contract with Noble Electronics. Details compensation, grounds for dismissal, definitions for what constitutes a breach of contract, and how arbitrations would be handled. Not a light read. So we don't have anything specific. This is a lot of evidence. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back. He had already made up his mind about all this? If he had, why'd he hide this where no one else would find it? Was that just a backup plan? Well, at least we've got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. Yeah, Morgan's her last name. Her first name is Evangeline. A written document declaring that Evangeline Morgan be given absolute ownership of the android Sarah, effective immediately, signed by David Asher, but not dated. A tax-free transaction, fortunately. Did they ever update her profile, I wonder? Nah, they never updated it to have Evangeline. As a collector's item. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do then. I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This will get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you for profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride for the courthouse. Priority. There is an upcharge this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. So are we going to court now? Does it excite you? Going into the courtroom? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day? Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were. What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off of like a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking, though he was rarely the one who suggested it. So you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forget it. I forgot what I was talking to. I like the performances. Sure, there you go. Got a crush on old Humphrey Bogart or something? He's a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides Father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net and I watch people and what they share of their lives, but it's all so subtle, so hard to follow. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're also complex, so detailed. But the characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate, their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's fiction, so these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. What a really cool little picture. I like this. Just chilling, watching movies. And the people on screen don't ask anything if you accept your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure, back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. Oh, I think we're going to court! Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse, though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers, all-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper-pushing queues, with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead, or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain loudly, of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that. And I guess I don't plan to. Why? It must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah insists that David would never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state, because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I am making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it would be difficult to summarize that progress in terms of a completion percent. Give it your best shot anyway. 4%. Oh, boy! So, I guess we're going in here and we're stalling for time so she can do this? Because, like, if the video can, like, place him in this room during that 4-minute window, that's good or bad, I suppose. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly less so after hearing that. Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Adjuvants are always a coin flip, so you do know what an adjuvant is, don't you? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe and gavel when we get in there? Should I not? Adjuvants are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails. Adjuvants are automated dependents that preside over trials for the state. While most adjuvants are designed and sold as software and then loaded onto courthouse-specific hardware, including android bodies, they can interpret trial proceedings and render judgment based entirely on stenographer records if need be, ruling on cases in an entirely digital capacity. Reviews of adjuvants by third parties have shown that they are overwhelmingly more equitable and even-handed on their sentencing than human judges. Because they cannot be bribed or intimidated, adjuvants are especially preferred for cases involving organized crime or corporate misconduct. Adjuvants use ninefold personality engram for rendering their judgments and building consensus, known as the nonary system among software engineers. Because each of the 9 personas are constructed in a different think tank or institution from across the political spectrum, ideological contamination in adjuvant units is practically impossible. There have been a small number of reported cases where notary processing has borne particularly enthusiastic or eccentric personas, presumably in an unorthodox, if not effective, attempt to reconcile particularly disparate opinions across the other 9 constituent personalities with a single authoritarian, loud voice. With the state's court backlog essentially cleared for the past half decade, questions arose as to the continued need for adjuvants to lighten the judicial system's human resource burden, but Senate Investigations Committee 74J-D91 determined that removing adjuvants from the legal system would be prohibitively expensive at this point, as is the best reason for anything to happen in this world. I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So androids are used to reduce caseload? Been that way for decades. But how is a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions? Stalling? Judges did fight it for years, at every level, and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board. And so, judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants. And it's not controversial having machines determine sentencing for human beings? Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, used to be that even the most high profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted within a single business week. And that's not rushing things? Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjuvants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And the answer is that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want the courts to be just as possible? If adjuvants are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure. But there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about. What all their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when you're viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one ever gets dirt under their fingernails, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. All right, I guess we're going in. I have no idea how any of the trial stuff works. Courtroom 48D. Hangman's Gambit, let's go. All right, where is my kiss the district attorney button? Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjuvant up there? Is it asleep? It's loaded. Oh, wait! I actually watched a stream where Evil Little Bug was designing this character. Where they were actually drawing the sprites. So I've actually seen a lot of this character's sprites. So this is gonna be our judge. It's loading. It needs to load? Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk. There's an audience. Oh, you mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death must have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one, detectives like Reyes or London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns usually, preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be a paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this crime. Or circus, crime, same thing. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjuvant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? With all those films you watch, I'd figure that you could extrapolate. I am asking so as to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, there will be a clarification of the charges, the defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecutors begin making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case. What do you do then? Sit here and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses, and after the prosecution are done questioning them, I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response, as long as I have discovery backing me. You've said that before. Discovery means just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time, that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And the jury? I don't see where they would sit. The jury hasn't sat in the actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity. And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look at someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is convince the adjuvant? Easier said than done. Adjuvants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. Speaking of evidence, I kind of want to do a quick little sight read of everything again. I always do this in Phoenix Wright games and Danganronpa as well. I always kind of refresh myself on the evidence, so I'm going to be kind of skimming this and not reading out loud, so apologies for any dead air here for a couple minutes, but I kind of want to take all this in and make sure I've got all my ducks in a row. The time stuff I'm probably gonna write down, actually, because I feel like a lot of this is gonna come down to me needing to know like the timeline of things. So Young, she had, I know she mentioned something, there was a timeline in something she said. I'll have to see that in a second, but I do know that like that there's that time frame of like 7:36 to 7:40 where he was gone. So I want, where'd my pen go? Hello, pen. There you are. And I don't know how the UI is going to work with this when I'm having to actually work with evidence, so I want to just make sure I've got stuff written down. Because sometimes, like a lot of these games, they won't let you actually go back in and look at the evidence when you're doing like the actual cross-examination and stuff. That sounds like Phoenix Wright can work sometimes, or not Phoenix Wright. Danganronpa was kind of bad at not letting you reevaluate. Okay. So, all right. And this is the blood. Counter corporate espionage. Okay, David's cup is tipped over. Just remember that. David's cup is tipped over. Bottle of rose and whiskey found in the dining table. This is certainly a lot of evidence to have to be working with. Sarah valuation. I know she's worth a lot of money. I don't think it's the money is at the center of anything that's going on here, though. I mean, obviously it probably does, but like, I think whatever's going on here, somebody knows about her. And instead, like, somebody corporate espionage this poor dude. Okay, the emergency console. This was activated at 8:04. Okay. David's contract. Yeah, this is okay. We read that one already. Salt shaker. We knocked this over. I don't know why this is in here. Okay, witness's testimony. All right. We got it now. This is where. Okay. Well. 8:03. 7:36 to 7:40. All right. Okie doke. Sorry about that. I think we're ready. Who's ready for some courtroom drama? Who's ready to be a good lawyer? Not me. If it's going to be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternative interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. This third lower court is now in session. Adjunct 8084 presiding. I call to order the case of the People versus Asher. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? You ready to die in the courtroom? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just an adjunct here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show start. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls on me to set the stage. My model name is Adjuvant. My unit designation is code 8084. I'm a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering, why? What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or defined, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod! Oh, I love her already. All right, we're in there. We're all gonna stand 8084 here, right? We're all already big fans. I love the eye mask already. This is already a good bit. Yeah, like the second she appeared on the screen. Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was just trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty. She has a back sprite. Oh, this is gonna be real good. Hold on, folks. This is gonna be a ride. This is a far cry from Ace Attorney Judge. Your Honor. Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor, this is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did, in fact, commit suicide as he... I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before he cut up his will like a T-bone? I didn't realize that adjuvants were so... lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjuvant the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still just an adjuvant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable. So, people, shall we get started with the first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. We love this doctor. Why are all the girls in this game hot and cute? Like, it's not fair. Again, they were just cooking with these designs. It's Yumi. Hey. So how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole truth and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough for me! Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for Dr. Asher, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. When technically 1 a.m. would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Objection! Well, we're off to a good start already. The defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was, yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. Oh, shit! I lost chips. Don't get cute with me, counselor. Being cute is my job. I love her. I love her. This is so good. God damn. We barely got started. That seemed pretty bad, Adonai. We lost chips and we didn't even do anything, right? We just like, fine. Is this the word you're looking for? we lost chips because the judge is cute, and I guess I can't argue that. How's it going, Grims? Hope you're doing well. Making mistakes will increase your blind. Well, I didn't make the mistake. The game made it for me. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as the stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Blind starts at and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in High Roller. Mind the blind number in the top left when it appears. Oh, okay, I've got a blind -1. It's very barely visible, but it's there. It helps you gauge what you stand to lose. That's cute. We should try to avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen in his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms? Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses? Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean? No, it wasn't. It wasn't clean. There was alcohol in his system. That's not a clean tox screen. This might be a technicality, but this is exactly what you do in these types of situations and in these types of games is you latch on to like the smallest little thing you can. No, that's wrong. Exactly. Oh, we get a profile for 80. Oh, she's so cute without the mask. Ah! She's an occupation, automated dependent, adjunct. She likes raw salmon, running water, gymnastics. She dislikes criminals, contrarians, and pigeons. She is a Libra, self-assigned. Her type, open, obedient, observant, people. We got her 3 sizes, everybody. We're in there. All right, so it's not a clean tox screen. So I know what I need to do. I know what evidence I need to present. Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still advance text faster if you want with space or left mouse. You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Testimony will keep repeating from the beginning until you call. Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch your mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Whiskey. Okay, so they're gonna give a... Okay, so we don't have to, like, have all of our shit. Yeah? Exactly. Allow us to slightly snip away at your words with minor... Yeah, how's it going? Wavering Lilac. Hope you're doing well. She dislikes pigeons because they're ungovernable by God or country. So they're gonna give us a multiple choice on the evidence and not just like, oh, here's your whole ass Rolodex of evidence. Don't screw up. Okay, that's good. Okay, so it's the whiskey. We know the whiskey is what we need to present. The subject passed away due to respiratory failure. Oh, okay. This is Danganronpa, kinda. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. He would have experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, and fainting. As the subject was healthy, their respiratory failure must be attributed to a drug overdose. But when a tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. No, that's wrong! After choosing to call on a statement, you need to respond with evidence. Hover over the 3 cards that show up, and left-click to make your choice before the timer runs out. Even that's timed? Whiskey. No, that's wrong! Ooh, wanna bet? Oh, shit! We throwing cards in the courtroom! Yeah, the cross-examination music is absolutely a bop. What in the Hope's Peak Academy is this? What the hip-hop hell is this? How's it going, Rainiac? Hope you're doing well. It's impossible for David Asher's talk screen to be clean, and we all know it. Since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night he died. Ah! That makes sense. And that scared you? The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not at such a concentration to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screens were negative for pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body. It just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we're all gonna get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor. The people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put all of my creative heuristics to work, coming up with an original, scientific, fitting name for the substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3. That name is already taken. Fine, call it Delta or whatever. I don't give a shit, whatever. Everybody hates me anyway. Delta is used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta matches no public pharmacology or toxicology records. That being said, chemically, it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling! So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say ingested. Why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please. I wasn't listening that closely. Can we have this adjunct for every case, please? She's so good. Oh, God. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screens showed that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure, except for this unknown substance, the poison we've labeled Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may clearly be poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. Justice is silly. Died from respiratory failure. This doesn't contradict that it would be a suicide, though. Yeah, it's a classic suicide is her argument. Young's testimony, drank with David before he died. Okay, this is our card here. And yeah, okay. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. Usually in games like this, and it's the witness is to provide comic relief, but in this case, it's the judge. Interesting. Yeah, I'm liking this dynamic because like when it's a witness, you can play with so many different personality types because you're going to see a number of witnesses over the course of any case, and of course in a game, and it creates a lot of memorable moments. But if it's like the judge that's like off of her rocker, I wonder if they're like I think they said there's like 9 adjuvant types. So like I wonder if we do other cases or throughout the rest of the series, if there's going to be different adjuvants that have a different personality types. I like this one too much already though. Okay, Monokuma, yeah, Monokuma's pretty silly. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen, as you say. Well, now I'm lost. Was this a poisoning or suicide or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Ball's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested Delta knowingly, and the Delta caused his respiratory failure. Oh, we're playing blackjack? How's this work? He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. How are we determining what each of these statements is worth, or is this just like they're just worth this much because the game says they are? During blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing, or else you'll go bust and lose credit. Hover over press to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 21. The AA judges could be a little goofy at times. Yeah, they could. They're definitely a lot less taught. They were mostly there to kind of just be like, you know, a punching bag for the defense attorney, or not but the prosecuting attorneys. Monokuma didn't say much during the trials themselves. He had really fun interjections sometimes. Like I think he definitely did speak a little more than maybe you think. I remember a lot of very funny moments during class trials where he would say quite a bit. I wasn't as big a fan of the mono kids though in V3. Though I am a V3 support. I liked V3 a lot. But I know that a lot of people don't share that view. I'm also the person that likes Zero Time Dilemma a lot too, so I guess that makes me the weird liker in terms of final games in a series that most people don't like. Okay, and don't ask the wrong questions. With my cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of that argument and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. Okay. Well, I think this is absolutely out of the question because we know that it was respiratory failure because, okay, we can actually look at the evidence. Okay, because we know that the autopsy, respiratory, yeah, so we know we don't have to ask that one. So oh, that's cool. Yeah, the Mono kids were just kind of, I think it was just too much of a thing. Like, Monokuma is already, like, a big personality. So when you try to make, like, 6 of that, it's too much. Although I did like, got a rock hard rager. I did like that line a lot. So, are you sure it was ingested? Dr. Sato, you said that the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally. But how sure can we actually be about that? Pretty sure. I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities that I checked, but... Oh, okay. So this is just conceding that, all right, like her investigation was thorough enough, but this presses the point of like he didn't do it himself, which is what we're trying to prove. The Tenko Himiki, yeah, Triad, Koei, yeah, everything, yeah. A lot of really fun characters. I liked a lot of the, I know that like a lot of people really hated Miyu. I thought Miyu was endlessly hilarious just because I think characters that swear the way that she does are very funny. But almost everybody I know was sick of her, like by chapter 2. So I'm pressing this. But how can we be sure that the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes. Would it have been in a large amount? Depends on, oh, okay, so we're up to 17 now. Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It would have been just a drop. It could have been just a drop. The kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes. Calls for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Oh man, I wanted to jump on her case. So it's gotta be this one then. You have not played Danganronpa? Maigo Kuroneko, you have not played Danganronpa. I like Danganronpa. I think that even in hindsight, years after having played all 3 of them, I think that they're still good. I do think that it is a series that if you play one and you like that story and you were fine not going further, I think that's okay. Like, I think that first game is kind of like the best paced. I think that it kind of is... It's the best concentrated dose of Danganronpa, I think. And I like 2 and 3 a lot. I just think that they can both be a little bloated. I watch people stream Danganronpa, but haven't played it myself. I have a bunch of Phoenix Wright. Yeah. It's like, I liked Danganronpa a lot more than Phoenix Wright for a long time. And now they're back on equal footing for me, but I think it's just because at the time I was kind of over what Phoenix Wright was doing. And Danganronpa felt really fresh and new in what it was doing and how it was handling those types of things. But yeah, I absolutely think that, like, if you ever see Danganronpa 1 on sale, like, which it goes on sale for like $3 to $5 on the bigger Steam sales, give it a go. Like, it's pretty good. Suggestion, play the games. Don't Google anything. Yeah, literally do not Google anything on those series at all. You will hate yourself for doing so. So it's, yeah. Dr. Soto, you were only even able to identify the presence of this delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never before seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I have had time to run simulations, and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant, and just enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. Just simulations, though? Yeah, like, this isn't hard. This isn't concrete. Somehow went into Danganronpa without a single spoiler, and you have a lovely time. Nice! How's it going, Kat? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. I've never had time for anybody's streams, and I feel so terrible. I wish I had more time to stop by everybody's cool streams. I wish I had more time to stream myself. As for Zero Time Dilemma, I think it's a lot worse than the preceding 2 entries, but it was bad in an interesting way. I'll agree with that. I will agree that a lot of the reasons I like Zero Time Dilemma are just because I feel like it caters to my specific tastes in a lot of ways, but I understand that story is kind of not great in a lot of ways too. And I'm also just a big softie for the fact that, like, the fans are the reason that it got made anyway. Like, the fans literally kind of saved that game and were able to get it finished. I think that was a great story. All right, so I'm going to argue that she's only playing with simulations on something, and this is not proven. You ran simulations? So you haven't tested Delta on an actual person? No, I haven't. We did it! 21! That would be very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample, not to mention highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Was there a question in the statement, counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet anyway. Seems like that's... Oh, look at this! Oh, this is so smooth. I love everything about this game's presentation. It's so slick. You're a sucker for timeline charts? Hell yeah. I love me a good twisty-turny timeline. I need to play Uno because I know Flannel Cat played that earlier this year, and I saw that I saw the flow chart, and I started salivating. Given the developmental constraints and other factors, it wouldn't be too surprising. Yeah. But overall, did the story end up grabbing you? Did it end up being like as good as it was seeming? Because it seemed like you were having a really good time with it. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. Well, it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, wouldn't you say? Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for what happened. Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain a cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Oh my God, she's so cute! She's pouting. I love her so much. It was like 70% fantastic and the final 30% of the game just drags and feels weird. Oh, it's always the worst. I like Zero Time Dilemma because I didn't spend a third of the game watching those door animations from VLR. Yeah, they could have sped that stuff up a lot. Another problem with ZTD, as soon as I heard the voice of DC Douglas being used in one of the characters, I knew they had to be the main villain. I didn't look up anything, so I didn't look up, like when a game is coming out like that, I don't look up anything. I don't want to know. I don't watch trailers. I don't look up casts. I don't look at cast decisions. Nothing. I don't want to know anything going in. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and his respiratory system is weakened, undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of healthcare, it is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. Ugh, that felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Seeding doubt wherever I can, however I can, is just about all I can manage. All right. Oh, look who's here. Oh, we're gonna be cross-examining Detective Reyes now? Oh. It's worth playing if you enjoyed the previous entries, but I felt some of slight excess as we saw in previous entries put a little... Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Like I said, ZTD works for me because it just leans into a lot of my own... a lot of shit that I just like, and I was just like, yeah, this game's doing all the poly stuff, so it gets a pass. The only person, yeah, you know what? I'll give you that one. The only person that liked the door animations in VLR. Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads in investigating this crime scene. Yes, ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home's security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness and the individual who had called them. They were both airlifted to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Asher was declared dead shortly after arriving there. She's actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand. I half expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing in, but when you take into consideration her love for boot heel authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about a half hour before he fell ill from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. I felt kind of refreshing of any detailed idea of the layout of the whole rhizome base. Yeah, like that's actually, like, it does give you a remarkable sense of place. It is something that I did kind of feel with that game, is that you do kind of feel like the I was gonna say the weight of where you're at, but that you kind of do as well. I think they do a good job of making that area feel really oppressive, but also, you know, just the scope. None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we searched the entire building, but we found nothing unusual in any food or drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. So what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, and the witness's drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So it was our determination that Dr. Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. The police want to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle, but I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. Okay, upright cup is the upright cup is Young's, the empty cup is David's, and the drug. Okay, so this is what I'm working with. Asher met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared their drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me. But just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. Okay. So all we got to her, she slipped up there and made a claim she can't actually support. All I need to do is point it out, and then I'll get to watch her self-destruct, which should be fun. Even now, she's just eager to make Reyes sweat. Asher met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. last night, and at 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared their drinks, and there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip them something. I wish I could actually look at my evidence here. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. It seems pretty cut and dry. He scanned the kitchen, the lab, and the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. Why can't I access my evidence? I feel like that's kind of bad. Because I have to call on a statement to like look at my evidence, and I don't, and if I call on the wrong one, I think I know where I'm leaning. I want to read this one more time. Asher met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared their drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me, but to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, and the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. So we're dealing with the 2 cups and the poison. The poison, I think you can mark that out. So it's got to be... It's got to be David's cup, right? Like, if you're making the statement that he himself poisoned it, okay, I think that's where we're going. I think we'll call on... No, I almost pressed it there. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned, and gotcha! All right! Yeah, they were inconclusive. It's again, we are just picking here. I knew that word inconclusive was going to come back. I knew it. They've been saying inconclusive for like the last 5 hours because they wanted to prepare me for that exact moment. You can't make that claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows that the tests of Dr. Asher's cup were inconclusive. She is. She's stylish as hell. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that this cup was, in fact, poisoned. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve, or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford? Testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher alone. Not at this time, but that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense! Oh, we are stalling so hard! Yeah, if you want to follow the artists who designed these characters, they're named Evil Little Bug. They're on Blue Sky. You can find them on Blue Sky easily, and you can find them like everywhere else. But yeah, I love the art style in this game. I love the character designs. It's not on the defense? Wow, someone hasn't played Phoenix Wright, right? It really does feel like the entire damn thing. The burden of everything is literally on the defense and Phoenix Wright. As we're all aware. Right, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby! Fire away? Baby? Reyes' testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I can keep her focus on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happened. Oh. Okay. I feel like all of these are... Hey, I can look at my evidence here. I can look at my evidence in this game. Why can't I look at my evidence in the other one? The only people you saw on the cameras that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah, there was no footage in the house of anyone else. Are there any parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in the house's interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there were other people there that night because cameras weren't watching every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that still wouldn't get you past his front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them was there that day. What about before that day? Like, they would still have to be recorded as coming out, like, you would have a record of somebody not coming out. So, I don't think I pressed this one. I think I'm gonna back down. Oh, whoa, whoa! Chill out, man. We don't have any records of him poisoning himself. Could he have been poisoned off I think that if there's no one else in the building, then I just don't think that he could have been poisoned off camera. That's such a classic mystery novel question. I'm gonna go... Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly to the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night? No. Oh, okay, we got... It seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time he returned to the parlor. He had already poured? In that case, the next questions need to be when and what. Wait, this one changed? Wait. Oh, did... They removed one and add... Oh, okay. So, this just got added. This was not there before. So I'm going to take it. This is our cue. Detective Reyes, during the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. All right, we're at 19. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about his lab? His bedroom? His basement? No, no, and no. We didn't find Delta and any other unusual substance in any part of his penthouse. Right. They never found any poison. No poison at all? What about a poison container? At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. Oh, yeah, look at me go. He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials, eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring some poison? Blackjack, bitch! What do you mean, procure? Where did it come from, Detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink. It can't have come from thin air, you understand? It had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it was in before, it probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in the pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had any opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. Then I guess I'll have to be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Counselor. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Asher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. What? Shit, that's way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G. Right, I knew this was gonna come back. So this is a fabricator. It can fabricate even nanomachines. So I guess he could have fabricated the poison himself. It takes 2 minutes, and he was gone for 4 minutes. A piece of machinery found in Dr. Asher's laboratory, sold under the product name Nanofacturer. Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to prove nanomachines chemical compounds and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Doss gave me a tour of the production floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the android can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could produce any number of specific substances for his research. Or any other chemical his heart desired, really. You think Randock Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the Nanofacturer to create unlicensed drugs does go against our terms and conditions. So Dr. Asher's warranty is certainly null and void. But they can't hard code their machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death, readily available in under a minute and the touch of a button. Specifically, preset number 19. Yeah, the amazing technology of the late 21st century. Yeah, she just fucked up there. At least I think she did. There's a hole in that argument. I mean, she did say that it takes a minute, but we know that it takes 2 minutes at least. I mean, is it in evidence? I don't think the manufacturer is in evidence, isn't it? 2 minutes. It does say 2 minutes. She did say a minute. Yeah, I'm seeing some things we may be able to play with here, argument-wise. Damn. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand this entire time. Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. Okay. Now what are we doing? We know that Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36 p.m. That's where he got the whiskey. And the cups they drank from, right? The cameras show him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, we know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Any objections so far, counselor? Also, I want this graphic on a shirt, dude. This Justice is Blind image, I want this on a shirt so bad. Like, come on, it's the coolest damn thing. She made a mistake with the time. No, I think she's absolutely right. Oh, wait. Presets of David's model history exist for a compound identical to the substance found. Okay, so I think she's right here. I don't think I need to raise here. I think she's right. This timeline is fine so far. She has the timeline correct. The prosecutor always comes out with a devastating new information. You immediately have to undermine them. Not at this moment, no. The timeline you've described is accurate as we know it, as you say. With this latest piece of evidence, we now know that Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup by placing it inside the manufacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting to... Oh, shit, she's not. Okay. But it's still... I don't think the timing makes sense here. Not with the way she's putting this doesn't... Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. Wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means. He had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here, no? Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? Hadn't I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, counselor, are we done here? I don't think so. Yeah, she's missing something. Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive. All right, taking that wheel, making a real hard turn. All right, I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish earlier or anything. This is a preliminary hearing, counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so it just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know? So I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part. What are you talking about? Here's the part where Phoenix Wright starts making that face, the sweat face. You know the one. That's not going to be Morgan, though. She's stone-faced. Look at her. She's not rattled at all. Your Honor, if it pleases the court. Ooh, new evidence? Gimme! This is a recording of a phone conversation dated 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a Damn it! You can hear that face. A man named Isaac Porter. recorder and David's breakup call? If Emma wants to present it here now, then the content must be... Relevance, Your Honor? Yeah, that. What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes the emotional state of the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool, begin playback. Hello? Oh, it's so soft-spoken. Aww. Isaac? You there? Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah, how have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did, that's all right, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always been left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or... Nah, you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now, anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh. Okay. So do you need anything, or should I... Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system. Yeah, he was a workaholic scientist, and they had a thing, but he was just way too into his work. But he also just it just kind of seems like he was rushed. Like, it feels like he was in a situation where he had to be. It just kind of feels like bad timing for everybody involved. I'll be back in like a minute, all right? I need to go refill my drink and use the restroom real quick. So I'll be back in like 1 or 2 minutes. Sorry. I'm back. Did you miss me? Of course you did. All right. Back to the subject at hand. And the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended for quality assurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. All right, what got updated? Recorded calls. All phone calls received or made from inside the Noble Executive Apartment building that David Asher lived in are automatically intercepted and recorded by the building's penumbra security system in line with Noble's data security best practices, of course. Shall we hear the rest? Gotta be the last time. The last time I let someone... The last time. Father. It might just be a call, but it makes for pretty damning evidence at this point in this discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that's horrible? I love it. I love Adjuvant so much. 8084, you are the best. Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know that she likes that very much. Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day. Caught between corporate inbreeders and ant-brained protesters but pitying me here and now, that's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for me to call my first witness, no? You want to keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock solid, slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Oh, good! It's Jess! Great! The phone call was also not precisely what Isaac implied. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I can do. What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet. Starling's the only play I have right now, the only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that hard drive's about 60% decrypted. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. I might be able to stall that long. This is not your idea of a silver bullet slam dunk witness? If I talk real slow, I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Oh man, we're about to bullshit our way through a confession admission of guilt, because that would be incredible. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but he was well-regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever any threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection. Calls for speculation? Intent? I'm feeling like that's gonna be a sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop, and people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance? Whether or not the people wanted to kill him. Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling, people would attempt to contact him, yes. But their messages were always too vague for the police to take an action on. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes. But I always turned those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very... That's a good one, Emma! That's a real good one! Oh, gosh, she said that with a straight face, too. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Well, I mean, I take it back. She's probably not wrong here. David's rich. They're very serious about harassing people. And, and trust me, if, like, you know, some major tech head billionaire guy, yeah, he's they'll probably take, you know, harassment against him pretty seriously. Okay, even Morgan's getting a laugh. Something you want to add, counselor? Just clearing my throat. Oh, God, I love Morgan. Oh, I love her. I love her. She's so good. Even Morgan got a laugh out of that, so it's okay to laugh, everybody. You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we went out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that's what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but did he ever talk to you, or to your knowledge, anyone else about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No? So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection. On what grounds? Asked and answered, stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy! And what matter specifically are you referring to? To the deceased's mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell's this? Oh, great! We're about to have that Phoenix Wright moment again, where she's about to admit something absolutely crazy into evidence, isn't she? We have private correspondences that describe, if they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. She's definitely about to drop some evidence that's going to torpedo her own case by mistake. You're about to have another blatant violation of rules of discovery. Convincing! Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into court record, but I was hoping to at least slow her. All right, back to the talk really slow plan. Where are you on that footage? 77%. Approximately. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can, even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. Oh, good. Okay. So now we gotta make ourselves look stupid. But hey, it's a cyberpunk dystopia and the prosecutors get away with it because... Yeah. I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how his treatment was covered under his Platinum plan. Platinum? I don't intend to air out all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court. Oh, okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls. You mean just cherry pick bullshit? I think that's about all you want to do here. A phone call that took place between Isaac Porter and David Asher from 6:29 to 6:36 the night David died. Isaac ended their relationship during the call. Because the call was received inside the home, it was automatically intercepted and recorded by the building's Penumbra security system. Starling. Jessica Starling testifies that David Asher has experienced harassment and stalking from conspiracy theorists throughout his career at Noble. Caduceus Platinum insurance policy, David Asher's name used to schedule and pay for psychiatric appointments on several occasions in the last year. Okay. Which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls? I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. Stall? I'll gladly object. On the grounds of foundation. Where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. What? Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there on the record. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him. And he was also seeing a psychiatrist both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own, even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide his psychiatrist from Noble's spying. No, he was smarter than that. He hid psych treatments from Noble. Well, this would be very easy to... He couldn't have hit... Wait. We gotta up the ante. I don't think so, ma'am. David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who'd have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all of his phone calls were being recorded. David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Yeah, like, it's kind of weird that, like, it gets explained in episode 0, and I think they may have forgotten to tutorialize it in episode 1. She's amazingly smug. Her smug face is real good. Do you really think he could try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently, yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it, though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you... I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. Oh! Ooh! I like this. Oh, this is real good. Oh, what you got? What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months, objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest. There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employer's many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question? All because you can't admit that for the past several months your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know? That is... sorry, but like, did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting! Oh, God. Yeah! Oh, I love this judge. Mental health stigma in the late 21st century is fierce. Judge just wants to see a cat fight. Yes, 8084 is my beloved. We love her. Ah, God, this is so good. Oh, I'm so happy that this game is as good as it is. Oh, y'all don't get... I'm having such a great time. Oh, my God. Yes, ma'am. With how my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. The girls are preying on one another. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were a counselor. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can possibly ask one more question. Better make it count. Miss Starling, we're all here trying to figure out what happened to Dr. Asher. Tell me, when did you last... What makes the most sense? When did you last see? Now I'm trying to remember if she's mentioned at all. Like, I don't think she has a testimony, does she? Testifies that David Asher is an experienced harassment. No, okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think if she's mentioned... Wait, she did mention that they... What makes the most sense in this case, I guess, is what I'm trying to, like... Like, if we're still dealing with, like, all of this time shit, like, this is what I think it's all coming down to. Where are we at? I'll find it, don't worry. I think it's all coming down to this. I think the timing of everything is where we're gonna have to be putting this whole thing together in order for it to make sense for him not to have killed himself. So I think that, like, it would have to be, since it's all come down to contact, it would be when she last heard from him. Because I don't know what seeing his work, like I don't even know that she, like, understands his work. From what I understand, she's just his assistant. Like, it sounds like she's kind of like a gopher-y kind of person. Meeting him at HQ and seeing him feel kind of, I think it's hear from him. Because that's the only thing, because everything kind of relies on if we kind of like I don't know where she would see him in this timeline if we're gonna try to fit him into the timeline. So are we swinging for it here? I guess. Because I don't like I'm sure that these don't. It's one of these two. I think because everything has just been like related to the communication. Yeah, I mean, I know you probably know because I think you finished the game by now. Yeah, swing for the fences. That's relevant to the Super Bowl. That's right. Sports. I'm going to say here. When was the last time you spoke to Dr. Asher and Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night. All right. Okay, we've got another time to put on the timeline now that I'm actually writing down. So she texted him at 6:57 p.m. And then we also know when the Isaac call took place. That has a I know, yeah. Isaac's call is 6:36. And then, so yeah, they texted shortly after that, the breakup call then. All right. And do we feel that that's relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? The texting makes a big difference. Sorry, I had to text myself come in just now, and I had to make sure it wasn't a work thing. It is, but I just need to reply to a text real quick because it's a work thing. Oh, and there's another one. Now what? Oh man, I don't need to be dealing with this shit right now. Okay, I should be fine. Okay, what were we doing? I forget what the question was. No, the texting is relevant. It's so big it's affecting real life. Yeah, the texting, I'm literally getting texts while having to answer questions about texts. So I think they're going with the idea that texting requires more attention than to call someone. Throwing them in. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? I just got chills. Don't know why though. Must be a coolant leak? The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that can change the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Drag cards from your hand onto the slots in chronological order, left to right. You can pick a card back up and place it in another slot if you change your mind, or drop it outside any slot to return it to your hand. Fill all slots to submit your answer. Up that ante. Okay. So Porter's call is at 6:30 to break up with him. Yeah. That's probably the first thing that happened. David faints. No. Uh-oh. Hello? Oh. This is kind of... I'm having a very hard time moving through my cards. Hello? Developers! Help! The cards are too smushed! I might bring that up, actually. I think the cards are too smushed. I'll bring that up in their Discord after stream. Yeah, there's only 4 cards. I can barely select them, though. What if I just, like, put them up here? Can I still read them if I put them up here? Okay, so David faints. That's probably later. Young. Oh, now I can. Starling. Huh? Okay, so this will go here, and then this will go here. Yes, that's it. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m., and I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events. But we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher? Well, actually, we talked about you. Uh-huh. And how he wanted you to have his android. Uh-huh. Yeah? That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it the first thing Tuesday morning because he doesn't like doing anything on Mondays. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. That implies that he was not in a hurry to get us that android. There may have been urgency to it because I do think that this is somebody who knows he was probably in some shit or that somebody was after him, but he was not feeling immediately in danger. He gave her the android to solve this murder. That's cinema. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And he was going to be in attendance? Well, actually, yes. He said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh. To summarize then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow us a moment. Sounds like an opening to me. If we assume that Dr. Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Bring me Young! Get her in here! Helen! I request your assistance in the courtroom, please. Until now, we've taken for granted this idea that the Delta must have come from his nanofacturer from outside the house. Adonai. Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the printer. Adonai. Spearmint, what you doing? Why? I am in the middle of making a very cool scene in the middle of the courtroom. Could you not? Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Sure, why not? Throw away your momentum. I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rockford. I've gained access to the hard drive's files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right. Okay. Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter? Either this is our silver bullet and we've got a case, or it isn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer. Yes, Adonai. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm awake! And I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage. The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as a part of the penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You what? The people say that the people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the nanofacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present the court footage received from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38. Meaning that he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So, better to be the Joker who dances. The data has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement. Yes, Adonai. I'll search for it now. Here, on screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River and leaving at 7:37, just under the wire, as it were. Is that it, then? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Wait. Oh, man. My stomach just dropped. I got a bad feel. Oh, God. I'm gonna see something real bad. Oh, I don't like this. Is there sound? None at all. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups, counselor. What? What? Oh, Jesus, what? What? No, there's no proof. This is from the back. I don't buy it. No, I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. This is from behind. Show me her face. What's that android doing on camera? I don't see cups either. There's nothing here. It's at the bar. Oh, well, okay. Okay. Oh, The android gave him the cups. Shit. Shit. The machine never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit. Shit. What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Adonai, please tell me. Oh, she's. Oh, my poor baby, no. Oh. She's so lost. She doesn't know what's going on. That's an order. Shit, dude. Like, man, I was really hoping that, like, oh, we only see them from behind. It's, oh my God, what? I thought we were actually starting to close in on the end of the game. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's... Your Honor? In light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be. And in the afterlife, this case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan! Yay! Chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. Now all I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. Oh, fuck, dude. What is going on? Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that his android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot. A true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Oh, shit. Oh, like we have an actual judge now. She's very happy about seeing the judge here. Either someone has hacked Sarah or there's another android that looks exactly like Sarah. I'm trying to like bounce the pieces around in my head to like, how would you? With the evidence we have, I don't see. Like, it's got to be Helen, right? Helen is involved. Helen has to be involved. Innocence established, but at what cost? Ha! As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Miss Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like the adjuvants. I always have. They deal with the criminal trials, so the bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? Even when she's like against the ropes, Morgan's got time for snark. Melissa Barrows. Hey, she was born on December 26th too. Hey. Just like Morgan. Superior judge at the High Circuit. She likes air conditioning, espresso, and reclining chairs. She dislikes parking lots, noise pollution, mud. She avoids overspending on restaurants. She splurges on expensive hotels, relaxes by watching action movies. There's another missing minute on the phone. Yeah, like we need... I don't think we have... I don't think it's been admitted into evidence, the footage yet. I have to imagine it's going to be at some point. Yeah, we don't have the evidence yet. So I'm imagining that's going to end up in our pocket at some point. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Counselor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to. That's correct, Your Honor. So what did it do exactly? Torture an animal, shut down a hospital, crash a coin market? Did she do a rug pull? Could Sarah do a rug pull? We have it on camera poisoning a man, killing its creator. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't keep hope to keep this quiet very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277-A, docket number YT984318282. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? YT984318282. I think that I lost you after the first 8. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject is exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3,422 Celsius for 30 minutes. Jeez. Yeah, they don't play around here. Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. Not Spearmint. Dave gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that get that hot? Of course, there are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry. Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. You saw Goody Polly with the devil. Hey, Doobie! How you doing? What's up? Hope you're doing well. We won our case, but we made things way worse because now we're going to get our friend killed. It's great. Our cool robot friend, we're literally just somehow strung them up. Oops. I don't know Sarah anything, especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry? I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can be somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life there's ever been. Yeah, I love that this game's anti-AI. Let's go. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it's programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Straight to the textbook almost. Straight from the textbook almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... No one's blaming you, Counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day, and I've had a lot of thoughts. Aw, she's drooling. Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course, and futile, and pointless. Spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Wait a minute. Whoa. Uh-oh. I think we're having a moment here. Watching stupid movies and trying to paper mache an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of the magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow despite knowing it would have nothing to feed on. Stupid. Oh, shit. Yeah, there's something going on. Morgan? What was that, counselor? I said objection. What are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. I understand that you've been through a lot these past few hours, counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android, Sarah, is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage. That appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true and no laws broken on your part. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make... I gotta point the finger at myself! Don't you dare try and entrap me on this. You aren't guilty of any crime. I mean, like, if I own an AI, I am a criminal, right? Like, I think I think the gun more bugged. Yeah, like, this gun can't be criminal. It's not the gun that was used. Like, I could present a gun and be like, oh, I'm the Heartbreak Killer. I don't think that's where we're going. Yeah, the gun is a legal purchase, so it's gotta be... The only thing that I can think of is like the contract. Is there? Okay, like what's the contract? I don't think that the noble contract has anything to do with it. I think it's absolutely, but I just want to be sure. A binder containing, okay, yeah, this is just, yeah, it has that. So it's the deed. It's pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah is an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony. Because I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that can be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes. And yet here you are, risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty, and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction other than feelings or personal attachment? The money, baby! We're in it for the money! Let's go! I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. or a very convincing number. What are you... What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You've gotta be... I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads, spiraling into appeal after appeal, bringing in court after court. This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure thwarted. Don't be cute. I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be one day. Tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than an absolute proof and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. D.A. Rockford, what I am asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now, I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Morgan. I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water? That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's lawyers to you. What? I don't know what that means. There's lawyers to you. You've got... That is the sentence that makes no sense. That's lawyers for you? You've got backbone? Teeth? Even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them in the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. For David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to, I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. Talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. All right. And I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and call it That was really good. The court stuff is really well done. I had a lot of fun with that. I think that's really well put together. So, wow. Yeah, that was awesome. We will be back again tomorrow to play more. We will be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. I legitimately thought that we were closing in on the end of the game. I can't believe that I can't believe that, where even are we time-wise? Like, I don't even know. I can't even guess how much of the game is left at this point. We know that there's at least one more day in court. Like I said, when I got the press kit for this game, they said it was like 8 hours or so. And I am now cruising into like hour 9 of streaming, which obviously when you're talking and playing a game at the same time, like that's going to eat up a lot of time and it's going to inflate the time you spend with it, obviously. But yeah, I'm having a great time with this still. Like I absolutely will be back tomorrow for more. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern is when you can find me streaming at my normal time. Like I said, I'm streaming earlier today because I know people probably have Super Bowl plans tonight. Let's see who's streaming. Let's see if we can throw some love somewhere, and I'll toss you all somewhere else after, since we're done here. You know what? Toad has given me raids like for the last 2 or 3 nights, so we're gonna raid Toad 22484, who is the current Rika Furude Simulator 25 champion, having completed the game twice now. And they're also playing some XCOM. So yeah, y'all enjoy that. We will catch you here tomorrow, and have a nice rest of your weekend.